You wanted me to say why, first of all, I was so passionate about being a councillor, and still am really passionate. It is one of the ways in politics you can make a tangible, real difference to people's lives in a way that you can just visibly look in your community and see around you. One of the stories I told was of somebody came to my councillor surgery the other day and was in floods of tears. They were a refugee, they were disabled, they were in temporary accommodation with 3 children. They'd been sent a bill by Lambeth Council, which they should never have received. They should have been receipt of council tax support. That was a bill for around £300. They couldn't pay it, and that had spiralled up to a debt of over £1,000. That man had come to my surgery saying, I've just had the bailiffs on the phone. They say they're going to take away my possessions. Is there anything you can do? And I could see the stress and the strain in this man's eyes. I said, look, here's my telephone number. If you have the bailiffs come to your door, get on the phone, call me up. I live just around the corner, and I will stand physically in the way and not let those bailiffs come into your home. And in the meantime, we'll go away and we'll see what you do about your bill. We made inquiries. We found out that the bill had gone to over £1,000 because the council had levied court fees and summonses on top of his bill. We got them cancelled, and then we got the original bill cancelled. A few days later, I was walking down Streatham High Road and I felt this tap on my shoulder, and I turned around and there was this man, and his face had completely changed. He tapped his breast. He was a Muslim, and he said, I thank God every night I go to bed for what you've done. Thank you so much. And you could just see the stress had lifted from him. Green councillors are doing that up and down the country right now, making a difference to people's lives. Another door we knocked on one time, an older woman came to the door in her 80s. And we said, hello, we're from the Green Party. And she went, oh, politicians. And we said, why? Why that reaction? And she said, I don't vote. Politicians killed my family. And we went, what do you mean? And she said, politicians killed my family. I come from Eastern Europe. And when I was growing up, I think it was her uncle had been killed by the regime. And we said, well, look, is there anything we can do for you? And she said, look, come out the back of my house. So we went through her house into her garden, and she showed us all her beautiful rose garden there. And she explained to us that she was just passionate about the garden. She was passionate about roses. And she said, look, I've lived here for 20 years, and all I've ever really wanted was a few trees in the road outside my house. Could you get me some trees? So we went away, and 6 months later, we lobbied the council and we got her some trees outside her house. Come election day, she hadn't just gone out to vote. She hadn't just joined the party. She was out in her 80s at Streatham Hill train station giving out leaflets saying, vote for the Green Party. Another story that I'll always carry with me was a woman called Barbara, who's had a profound impact on us as a party. She got in touch with us very early on. She said, my sheltered housing is going to be destroyed, it's going to be flattened. We're going to be moved out into this extra care housing it's very anonymous, we don't really like. There's a sheltered housing community just around the corner from here called the Glebe. And the council had come forward with these plans to kind of rationalise all their property and sell some off to developers. And they were going to lose their homes, their community. There were many people there in their 70s, 80s, some terminally ill. And she said, the council, Labour Council wants to do this. We've got Lib Dem councillors here, they don't want to help us. The Conservatives are nowhere. Can you do something for us? And so we sat down with them, we understood their story, we put together a petition, and we went round house to house and we put it online. We got some posters made, put them up in windows, we got some press coverage for them on the front page of the South London Press, and we arranged for a meeting for them to go in and meet the chief executive of the council leader, and we managed to save their sheltered housing. Barbara then joined the Green Party, and Barbara still comes out door to door with us when we canvass, and she has a little scrapbook with all the press cuttings from the campaign, and she won't leave a doorstep before she's persuaded the person to vote Green. And she said, well, why wouldn't you vote Green? This is what they did for us. And she will not leave until they're voting Green. I've always believed that as a Green councillor, you've got to earn the right to be heard. You can't just knock on a door and say, these are the Green Party policies, you need to vote for us. You've got to show people that you care. I've told you these stories not just because it's really rewarding to be a councillor, but in the Green Party, I think we go out and not just knock on doors and say, you need to vote Green and here are our policies. We earn the right to be heard. We go out and say, what can we do for you? We don't have that natural base vote that the other parties have. We've got to go out and earn every single vote, and that's why I believe we got so many Green Party councillors elected at the last local elections. You know, in the last 18 months, we've had more Green Party councillors elected than in the last 18 years. We've done that because we've served communities. When we've got Greens elected, other people have seen what a difference a Green makes in the room, in the town hall, on their street, and they want to elect more. But the other thing I want to say is that you can't just walk into being a councillor. You have to work so hard. And there are really only two ways at getting elected to a local council. The first is to put leaflets through doors, and the second is to knock on doors. Leaflets and knocking on doors. If you don't do those two things, you simply won't get elected. I've met so many councillors who have missed out by just a handful of votes. In my first election, I missed out, I think, by just 40 votes from getting elected. That's how narrow often the victory or the loss is. We have to go out and we have to talk to people and put leaflets through their doors and show that we are visible, show that we are there and active in the community. When I was elected to Lambeth Council, we made a huge difference. But we knew we were going to win before the election actually happened. And the reason was when we knocked on doors, people were so sick of hearing from us that they would tell us, just go away, I'm voting Green, I want you to leave. Or they would say, we're voting Green because, and then they would cite the messages that we'd had in our leaflets. The message that we needed accountability in Lambeth, that we couldn't have a one-party state, that we needed a Green in the room. And they would repeat these messages back to us when we knocked on the door. That's when we knew that we were going to win. Another sure sign is that when people start telling you you're putting too many leaflets through doors. Go away, they say. I don't want any more. I'm going to vote Green. When they say that, you know that you've probably reached about the right level. But until that point, you need to keep putting literature through doors and knocking on people's doors. We need to be visible, we need to be present. So my message to you is, one, it is an amazing thing to be a councillor. It is rewarding. You make a difference in local communities. It's one of the reasons why I am in politics. But secondly, you can't just walk into a council job. You have to earn the right to be heard. You have to put leaflets through doors, you have to knock on doors. And only when you get to the point where people are telling you to go away because they're absolutely sick of you, are you going to get elected. So keep going, knock on doors, deliver those leaflets. Let's get more Greens into town halls up and down the country, and let's transform our local communities.